Not yet.
And who is taking the picture?
We actually don't need, well, yes, it's a good idea to have a picture. Thank you.
I was wondering, Kimi, could you take the picture?
Sure. Hold on. Let me just make my screen a little bigger.
I've taken
Smile.
Okay, we are ready to roll.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. It is February 14th, where we celebrate Love Day. And I'm Sally Reyes, your Assistant Sergeant at Arms. And please take your phone out and turn it off. Then we won't interrupt anyone's speech. And I would like you to help me welcome our president, inventive creator, distinguished Toastmaster, general intuitive, and guardian angel, the ineffable Cynthia Stott. Take it away.
Oh. I can't hear you.
I was on mute. Ah! The ever-present mute button. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Leaders Worldwide. Welcome to our members. Welcome to our guests. And I want to start with the Toastmasters International mission statement and core values and our club mission and what we are here for, what we were designed to do. Toastmasters International, we empower individuals to become more effective communicators and leaders. Our core values are integrity, respect, service, and excellence. The club's mission is to provide a supportive and positive environment experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. And here at Leaders Worldwide, we were designed for politicians, business and nonprofit leaders, entrepreneurs, and others who want to make their message heartfelt, authentic, and ready for the worldwide stage. And we have a unique opportunity for you to do that next week at our evening session, which is 5:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, San Francisco time or Los Angeles time. Our meeting is going to be an international speech contest. And I've posted that in the chat. I want to post it one more time. A link to sign up if you want to be one of our contestants. And we are hoping for at least 10 contestants. Let me just post this here. Oh, got too many messages flying in from WhatsApp and Clubhouse. Here you go. And you can sign up there and you'll be one of our contestants. And we have a worldwide cadre of experts zooming in to support us. We have one of our timers is from Trinidad and he's completely blind. And he's going to show how a timer can be completely blind and highly effective. He doesn't let anything get in his way. He's very inspirational. That's Marlon. And then we have Brendan, who's going to be our Toastmaster of the day. He's won numerous humorous speech contests. He is a very humorous and entertaining Toastmaster. And I know he will make our international contest a huge success and a lot of fun. And we have lots of people coming in from all over the world to watch and to participate and to support you in their roles. Mm-hmm. Great. And I want to welcome all of our guests. And Hoa did not get a G in front of her name. Can we put the G in front of her name and then take another picture so she gets counted? And Hoa, would you like to introduce yourself? You're a guest of Judith, right?
Hi, Cynthia. Thank you for asking me to introduce myself. I am with 3 clubs right now, and I have already, for those of you who want to get your DTM, it is really very challenging, but very rewarding hard work. I have so many certificates, but DTM is my best. And I love Toastmaster. Whenever I go, I always ask people, you come to Toastmaster. And they look at me, here she go again, right? But I love Toastmaster. I have already participated, be the guest of many countries. So Toastmaster is my life. Thank you, Cynthia.
Awesome. And welcome, Koa. Thank you. And we have Stefan Miller. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. My name is Toastmaster Stefan Miller. I am visiting from the Bahamas. It is always a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Welcome. And we have Judith, of course. We'd love to have Judith as our regular guest, and she's going to be in our speechcraft today. Hi, Judith.
Hi, thank you. Seem to be also involved in Toastmaster meeting around the world, more or less. And as Awa said, I'm also a member of 4 clubs, and I am visiting this club, and think I am going to join this club in the next session. And it's a great club, and that's true. I am a DTM, and I also know it's a lot of work to get there. And I'm also a coach of a club, and thank you for having me as a guest.
Awesome. Welcome, Judith. And Anna, would you like to introduce yourself? Welcome, Anna.
Hello, everyone. All right, I am from Pakistan, Karachi Toastmasters Club. And to be a little nearer to this, I am the spouse of Tanha bin Hamid. Well, I am a Toastmaster since the last 3 years. And I joined it. Initially, it was a push-in. I was pushed into participating in Toastmasters, but later on, I realized that yes, it's much more enjoyable than just being pushed in. And when I started enjoying it, yes, I started winning as well. So today I decided to give in a Valentine present to my husband, maybe, and join in, although it's past 12 years. But let's celebrate it together with you all. And I know I'm going to enjoy this and cherish this meeting forever. Thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you so much. And what a wonderful Valentine to spend together. That's awesome. Great. And Shruti, you are going to be our grammarian. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Cynthia.
Do you want to introduce yourself briefly?
Sure. I have joined Toastmasters a few months ago. My club gave me the privilege of being the Vice President Education. And that was when I realized that I love Toastmasters. And this is my first time going international. And I'm enjoying it so far. And I hope I attend many meetings in this club and many more.
Well, welcome to Leaders Worldwide. Love you as an international guest. Awesome. And last but not least, Eileen, would you like to introduce yourself as our guest? If you're available.
I'm still making lunch in the kitchen, so I'm listening and trying to get what I can out of you. I have joined you before. Happy Valentine's, everyone. And like I said, I'm listening. I've got a meeting tonight, so I'm just catching what I can. Great. to-
Awesome. Glad to have you here. Great. Welcome, welcome. Well, welcome all of our guests, and we hope that you will consider joining us as a member. Great. So without further ado, I'm going to announce the spouse of our guest, Anam, our Toastmaster of the day, Tala bin Hamid. Please welcome Tala.
Thank you so much. Good morning and good evening. Thankfully, we had just passed Valentine's Day in our country, but I do realize that it continues to be Valentine's Day in most of the world, especially for all of you guys. So today, our meeting theme is Navigating Love in the Modern World. And it is a complicated thing because if you dig down deep enough, you do realize that you really do only love yourself. Even if you love others, you love them for yourself. In order to be truly, truly sincere, you have to remove yourself from the equation. And in the modern world, it has become more and more difficult. It's all about me, 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 me. It's all about projecting yourself. Our schools teach us that we should rise above and leave everyone behind. The emphasis is on leaving everyone else behind. That's the only way we could rise above. In fact, that's what we are taught. And I think there's a different way of doing it. And in fact, you're doing it right now. Why not love each other and rise together? So to keep up with today's meeting theme, I have come up with some super cheesy verses, little love letters to each and every one of you, because I know all of you and I love all of you. So accept them with open heart. And if you don't like them, please keep your opinion to yourself. Right. So my first assignment is to introduce our journal evaluator. And my ode to him is, he is amazingly musical, dangerously charming. Is there anything you can do? Victor Irving Jenkins.
Is there anything I can't do?
Do, yeah, because you're charming and you're musical. Yeah,
Oh,
thanks for killing it.
I can't shut up. I can't. I can't speak when I'm muted, and I can't shut up. And again, today I'm going to be functioning as the general evaluator, and as the general evaluator, I will give my assessment as to how well the meeting is being run, how well we accomplish what we say that we want to accomplish. Our president earlier stated what the mission of a Toastmasters Club was, and as the general evaluator, I will say how well we've done that. I will also introduce the evaluators who will come later on in the meeting, because if you don't know how well the speakers did, then the speakers don't get to accomplish that mission that we talked about in the beginning of the meeting. For now, though, I'm going to introduce the grammarian and see what the grammarian has to say, unless, of course, our esteemed Toastmaster would like to say some words of love for the grammarian before they do what they do. So I will leave it up to you, brother.
Oh my God. All right. All right. So today our grammarian is, I believe it's Toastmaster Shruti, right?
Yes, Toastmaster Talha.
Yes. So thank you so much, Toastmaster Shruti, in advance for keeping us on our toes. So please introduce your role and the word of the day.
Absolutely. For the benefit of guests and newcomers, I would like to introduce the role of the grammarian. So firstly, I would be saying the awkward uses or the misuses of the language. And secondly, I would like to see the creative and the good uses of the language throughout the meeting. And then I would like to see the word of the day being used by anyone and everyone who can. The word of the day is listening. Over to you, General Evaluator. or Toastmaster today?
Thank you so much. So it is our job to listen, to help, and to be snooty. Today's grammarian is Toastmaster Shruti. Right, I came up with it right now. Next, we have our timer. And time, oh time, the sweetest of traps. But don't worry, Kathleen Phil is there to keep the tabs. Madam Timer.
Okay, pardon me, I didn't have, I was not on time, but now I am. Our keynote speech is up to 15 minutes. 13 minutes, the green comes up, 14 minutes, and then 15 minutes. Our prepared speeches are 5 to 7 minutes. That's 5 minutes, 6, and 7 minutes. Then you have 30 seconds to wrap up. Our evaluations are 2, 2.5, and 3 minutes. Back to you, Mr. Charming Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Madam Timer. And now it is my turn to introduce our keynote speaker of the day. She's a relationship navigation specialist and the author of the upcoming book, Relationship Navigation. It Takes More Than Love, that has been previously personally endorsed by Dr. John Gary of the Mars-Venus series. She works with men and women personally and professionally to help them successfully navigate relationship dynamics so that they can have more love, peace, and fun. She holds an MA in counseling psychology, a BS in family studies and human development, is a certified relationship coach, a partnership adoration and ecstasy program licensed partner and coach, an NLP Master practitioner and trainer. She's an international speaker and has shared the stage with former presidential candidate Mariann Williamson and Carolyn Myss, as well as worked with multinational corporations such as Shell Oil and Chevron. She's also the VP of Membership and the current past president of the Heart to Heart Toastmasters Club in Oakland, California. She is love and care and hard to mimic. Everybody put your hands together for Kimi, Avary.
Thank you, Toastmaster Tala. Have you ever lost a day, a week, a month, a year, or years of your life to relationship upsets? I have. Have you ever in the past or present felt criticized by your partner? Have you ever been told by your partner that you're too critical? It happens all the time. Men and women are so different, we'd be better off if we actually spoke different languages, because then we wouldn't think we were communicating. According to Dr. John Gottman, who's a researcher up in Seattle, Washington, he's got a love lab there. He looks at how couples are interacting. And within 5 minutes, he can tell if a couple is going to make it or not. And what he's looking for in their interactions is how they speak and listen to each other. Couples that last will say 5 positives to every negative thing. Couples who fail and who will fall apart say 5 negatives to every positive thing. And this is a big problem in relationships. Criticism kills relationships. And we have such different ways of being in our relationships that we have problems navigating our experience. Women tend to look at men as hairier, misbehaving versions of themselves, who are either doing things we would never do and we're upset, or not doing the things we would do and we're upset. That's a problem. Men tend to look at women as smaller, emotionally indulgent, versions of themselves who can't get to the point to save their lives. Anybody? Guys, have you ever had the experience of glazing over when somebody's talking on and on and on? I know I have, and I'm a woman. Women can be in masculine and feminine mode, and so can men. Men tend to listen for the point, and therefore they tend to be direct and clear. Women tend to beat around the bush. It's an American phrase. I don't know if you know it around the world, meaning that we will literally talk around an idea and not get to the point, which has us lose the single focused human being. Women are, as we beat around the bush, will explain all the reasons that we're upset, what's not working, what we don't like, the splatter on the kitchen counter, the mess in the living room. We'll complain instead of saying, I need you to fold the blankets and put them away. Or you made pizza last night, like my husband did, and there was splatters everywhere from the pizza dough. He didn't see it as he was running out the door. I saw it first thing in the morning, and he walked in the door, and the first thing I said was, there was pizza dough everywhere. It was on our knives, it was on our window, it was all over the sink, it was on the floor. He hadn't seen it because he was single focused getting out the door. We tend to start with the criticism. And what that does is it has our male energies in our house block us. They don't want to hear it. They get upset, like my husband did. I actually apologized to him. I said, I'm sorry that was the first thing out of my mouth when you walked in the door from golf. We communicate very differently. And as a relationship navigation specialist, I help men and women to understand each other better so that they can have better relationships. I am all about love. I am all about the divine that is in each and every person. But the truth is we can't get there when we're in our animal ego upset. This stuff needs to be understood so that we can spend more time in love. Back in the day, there were more traditional roles. It was really clear what you were supposed to do and what you weren't supposed to do. And now in the modern world, it's not so clear. A woman may be out being the breadwinner for her household. A man may be the stay-at-home dad. Those roles may be changing. It may change from year to year in a relationship. And if we don't understand how to navigate that, we have the tragic experience of divorce and breakup. About 50% of couples who get married end up getting divorced, and those people will end up becoming repeat divorcers. They're hopeful about love, but they don't know how to do it. They don't know how to keep that love alive. And about 80% of people who live together end up breaking up. So as a relationship coach, I work with men and women, singles and couples, gay and straight people. I help them navigate this masculine and feminine dynamic. We all look at other people as versions of ourselves. Remember what I said about men looking at women as hairier, or women looking at men as hairier, misbehaving versions of ourselves? That's because we're looking out of our eyes as a woman, seeing the other person as a version of ourselves. Men looking at women and saying they're too talkative or too emotional, they're looking at out of their eyes as men, looking at women and seeing that they're broken. We have this idea that anybody who's doing things different than ourselves are broken in some way. And then we make meaning out of this experience, he doesn't love me, she doesn't care about me, she doesn't respect me. And we get our feelings hurt. And then we spiral down. So the next words out of our mouth are more critical and more upset and more hurt, instead of rising above it and recognizing this pattern that's playing out, that we can turn it around. One of the couples that I've been working with, I'll call them Sajit and Amarjit. They're a couple from India. They've been married for 33 years. And when they got married, they were obviously very hopeful. Nobody walks down the aisle thinking that they're marrying the worst person in the world, or you wouldn't be doing it, right? So she was hopeful, he was hopeful, they were in love. And what started happening within the first year of their marriage is he would say things to her like, oh, you've got that beautiful sari on, why don't you put the bindi on? And she heard it as criticism. Now, there's something that men typically don't know about women. We have an internal voice in our head that says a better woman would be more loving, more intelligent, a better mother, a better lover, a better friend, better. This ideal woman is better at everything than we are. And we think we're the only ones who have this voice. But it's not true. Every woman I've ever met has some version of this in their head. Ladies, anybody experience this? Yeah. That voice causes us to react strongly when our partner says something to us. Why don't you put the bindi on your head? You know, he doesn't say, oh, you know, I love that sari on you. And you know what would make it more delicious is if you put the bindi on, because you would just sparkle that much more. He doesn't say that. He goes, where's your bindi? And she says, oh, he doesn't like me. He doesn't like what I'm wearing. It spirals into this long, detailed explanation when it was really just a question. What men don't know is that they're up against this voice in a woman's head all the time. Guys, have you ever said to your partner, the love of your life, you hold her cheeks in your hand and you've said, oh, you are so beautiful. And she kind of cringes a little bit. That's that voice in her head. When you see that, what you do is you pause her and you say, hold on a second. I'm sharing my opinion of you. You are the most beautiful woman in the world to me. I want you to receive that. I want you to really hear that. She can breathe it and take it in and then feel loved instead of criticized. Now, this couple that I'm working with, she's got, at the beginning of her marriage, she's got journal after journal entry of, he doesn't like how I do this. He doesn't like how I do that. He's critical of my weight. He's critical of this. He's critical of that. He's critical. And why did I even get married to him? He doesn't like me. He doesn't care about me. He doesn't think I'm good enough for him. That's not what he was thinking. And we're doing our coaching 33 years into this marriage, and she's stunned when she learns that he adores her. He thinks she's beautiful and amazing and intelligent. She's stunned. And he felt criticized because, as I was describing earlier, all the ways that we walk into a room as women and we say, oh, you didn't put this away. You didn't do that. There's a splatter here. All he hears is criticism. So as women, we can learn how to say, honey, I need you to do this. I need you to put the blankets away. I need you to clean up the splatters from the pizza dough today. Direct and clear messages are what gets through to a man. When we are in our survival mode of just trying to get along, if you imagine Maslow's hierarchy of needs, down on the bottom, it's all survival. Up here is where our spiritual lives live. We can't get here unless this is sorted out. And that's what I help my couples to do. As I've got my master's in counseling, a bachelor's in family studies and human development, and I help my clients to learn to navigate this experience so that they can have the experience of living their lives in love. What does that look like? It looks like remembering your source, that spark of life that's in each cell. Some people call it Allah, some people call it God or Yahweh, all kinds of names for it. But that essence inside of you, where you feel the love rippling out, that is the pinnacle of our human experience. We all want love. I'm sure you want love in your life. And learning to navigate these masculine and feminine dynamics are where you can learn to shine. So Sajit and Amarjit, I taught them how to use something I call love balms. Love balm, B-A-L-M. It's the medicine that you put into a wound. Those are filled with appreciation for what your partner offers you, meaning they show up with a smile. They buy something special for you. They massage your feet. They love you. They express that to you. You learn to listen to that. And that nourishes the relationship and gives it a pathway with appreciation and love bombs to a lifetime of love. And the only way to get there is to learn to navigate this dynamic. There is a better way. And that better way is when you choose to understand that you're looking at your partner as a version of yourself. So I invite you to be curious about that person, about your love, about the other people in your lives, really. But in a partnership, it is Valentine's Day after all. Learn how to be curious about where they're coming from and learn how to listen to learn about what's important to them so that you can allow the love that's already in you, that divine love, to shine out and touch everybody in the world. What are you going to do today on this special day? And I would say that Valentine's Day is one day of 365 days a year. So I wouldn't put too much stock in it. I would choose to put the love balm medicine into the wound, into my partner's heart every single day. I hear you. Back to you, Tala Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Kimi. And that was a lot to process, I must admit. It was beautiful, it was scintillating, and it was really, really something that led us to look at life in a whole different way. So thank you so much. And now I invite our president, DTM Cynthia, to conduct the Q&A. Over to you, DTM Cynthia.
Thank you, DTM Tala. Awesome, awesome speech, Kimi. That was amazing. And I invite all of you to write something in our chat for Kimi, either comments or questions. And I would like to ask you a question, Kimi. It was amazing. What is your best advice when you're in a fight? That always happens. You're in the fight, you're in throes of things. What's the best way to kind of get out of that, turn it around? Because that's a pivotal point.
I think taking a break, first off, like pausing, time out, let's get centered. That's the first thing. Or the most immediate thing, I should say, because ideally you can learn what are those trigger points so that you don't end up in that fight to begin with. I'll give you an example. My husband loves to watch football. I know this, and our big screen TV is right near the kitchen. He is single focused on that game. Any distraction has him react strongly. I don't think it's a good reaction. I think he's, I've got all kinds of judgments about that. But I know that if I go up to talk to him during the game, I'm not going to get a good response. So if I start to talk, because I've forgotten that he's single focused and I'm not, and he reacts strongly, I can walk away and talk myself off the ledge of being upset by saying, oh, that's right, he's single focused. And that way, when he comes to me after the game and say, you wanted to talk, I can say, oh yes, this is what I want to say. Instead of saying, well, you were mean to me, you ignored me. I don't know anybody else who's had that experience. Something like that. Anyway, the whole goal is to prevent the fight to begin with by learning how you operate, how your partner operates, cleaning up your side of the street so that when there is an argument, you're able to pause.
Oh, that's beautiful. And it's really about listening into yourself, seeing where you are, and then also listening to your partner and their needs and the way that they communicate with the world. Right. So we got a lot of comments for you, Kimi, here. I'm just going to read them off. Said, Rabia Zishan, our guest, said, I love the session. Kathleen said, your whole speech is a love bomb. I love that. And Stefan Miller said, wonderful speech, Kimi. And Seema Giri said, great examples. It's the little things that build over time, good or bad experiences. Oh, I love that. It's kind of like the Princess and the Pea. You're bothered by the little pea. It really adds up. And then Shruti, our grammarian, said, great speech, loved it. And you used the word of the day 14 times. Great. And Victor Irving Jenkins says, since you know your partner loves you, how do you determine an actual hurtful criticism from simply being defensive? Good question.
I would say that behind every behavior is a positive intention. That's one of the operating beliefs or presuppositions of neurolinguistic programming. So if your partner's criticizing you, it means, especially since you're a man asking this question, it means that there's something underneath that she needs that she has not been able to be clear about. So with strength and fortitude, I would walk up to my partner, Victor, and I would say, sweetheart, I know you have something you need, and I am so sorry, I'm unclear about what that is. Would you be willing to sit down with me so we can figure out what that is? Because I love you so much. You know that I would do anything for you if I knew what it was. Women typically have needs that we don't express clearly. In fact, it is our nature to be unclear about what we need. So guys, you have a big task in front of you. Be strong, pause, say, sweetheart, I understand you're upset, and I really want to understand what you need.
Mm. And Victor says he means him being defensive, me being defensive. Can he stop? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, if it's you being defensive, Victor, I would keep in mind that behind every behavior is a positive intention. And you may have that initial reaction, oh God, not again. Because yeah, it hurts when you feel like you're being criticized all the time. Take a deep breath and then do what I said, get yourself there. And if you need to, pause. Do an internal search of your divine nature.
Mm.
Remember that God's all there is.
Mm.
Breathe. You're part of God, and so is your partner. Breathe and bring to the conversation that. And you may need to say, hey, time out. I need a quick break. I'm going to go pause for a minute and I'll come back. I really want to hear what you have to say. And it takes fortitude. And I help couples to do this.
Great. Wonderful. And we're out of time, but I just want to read the last comment from Rabia. She says, so how do we forget? We as women, I believe, do forgive easily, but we don't forget. And anytime anything new happens, we remember the old hurt feelings. So maybe you can answer that during the break, Kimi.
Sure.
And she said, oh, I so wish my husband could have heard this also. Oh, and then Eileen says, I missed some of the speech as hubby said he has on his way home for lunch. Special scallops and chocolate mousse. Ooh, to show love on Valentine's Day. Thanks for your tips. Awesome. Sounds like Eileen's going to have a wonderful Valentine's Day. And maybe, Kimi, you can stay on and answer that question for Rabia during the break. So we'll just keep the recording going since it's going to be more of your speech. But I'm going to say back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, DTM Cynthia. And yes, everyone, you can have a cup of coffee, a sandwich, or a steak because it's time for a break. See you on the other side.
Just 5 minutes, though. Not much time to cook the steak. Awesome.
But maybe just to have it, if someone cooks it for you as a Valentine's gift, who knows?
Yes. Wonderful. And Kimi, do you want to answer that question while we go to break? Feel free to go to break.
I'd love that. So Rabia, how do we forget? We suffer from the elephant syndrome. The elephant syndrome is that every single piece of information that has ever been an upset in our relationship will come out when we're really upset. It's like they've all been locked in the closet and our partner does something and we go, and you did this and this and this and this and this. Guys, have you ever experienced that? I see some nodding. So how do we deal with that? Number one, we have to stay present as much as possible. Now, sometimes if we've been hurt over time, we need to clean the slate. And there's a technique I use with my couples on healing hurt feelings and forgiveness. Because slate, then those wounds will stay there and they'll grow, kind of like a cavity in your tooth. It just gets darker and darker and darker. And often as women, we start off at the top of the tree of love and everything's great. And we have things that we need that we don't express clearly. And slowly but surely, we give up on that need and give up on that one. And we fall down the tree of love, branch by painful branch, and we land splat on the floor. And then we say, I'm out of here. If a woman and I've had many women I've worked with where they learn to express what they need with their partner immediately shows up. It's like that. Now, he may have some hurt feelings to be healed also from having your rage toward him or his upset toward you. All of that, the dance of forgiveness needs to be taken into account so that when you clear the slate, all of those older things, and they may want to come out of your mouth, pause and say, is this present? Is this happening in this moment? Stay focused on the one thing and you're going to get more accomplished. Rabia, did that help?
Yes, it did. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Beautiful. Wonderful Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Great. So Kimi, can you put your contact information in the chat?
I will.
If people have more questions to follow up with you, I'm sure you'd be willing to answer them.
Yeah, I'll do a
Mhm.
30-minute complimentary session with anybody who wants to learn some things on how to have a better relationship. And I help people figure out if and how they can save their relationship.
Beautiful, beautiful. Or even if it's not just to save it, but to enhance it, to enrich it for yourself and your children. Because I know that's a very important thing for you, is the children of married couples.
Absolutely. Honestly, if two people want to be mean and nasty to each other and fight and have the drama and the passion, no problem. But when children are involved, I care a lot because I want those children to grow up seeing love, whether their parents stay together or not.
Right.
Seeing love instead of fighting. We were not given role models on how to be in a great relationship. And of course, the territory has changed. So how do we do life in the modern world? How do we experience love in the modern world so that our children grow up to see through the eyes of love also?
Yes. So important. So important. Well, it's time for us to get back from our break. I hope you had a chance to take a little bit of a break. And I send it back to you, Mr. Toastmaster, Tala bin Hamid.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, and welcome back, everyone. Now it is time. Have we had the split between main and breakout room, Mr. Zoom host?
No, I'll do it right now.
All right.
Make sure everybody gets over there. Have fun, Judith. I love your background too, unicorn.
So now if there's anyone who wants to go into the breakout room, let me know.
Yes, how do I do that? Oh, okay.
Judith, I've already set up the breakout room and you're in it.
This is Sally. I would like to go to breakout room.
Okay,
I think you're doing table topics, aren't you?
Yeah,
That's in the main room. Yeah. Stay in the main room for that. But Teresa Cherry is to go to the speechcraft room.
I know. I have her in the speechcraft room along with Judith and Hoa. Anyone else?
But they haven't gone
Hoa
over
is
yet.
in the main
I haven't
room
sent
yet.
them over yet. Are we ready to send them over?
Yes.
I am still in the main room. Oh, there it is. Okay.
All systems are go. Okay, looks like, did they all head on over there? Isaac?
Yes. Tyler, you're in the main. Oh yeah, you're in the main
room. He's a Toastmaster of the day.
Okay.
Teresa, are you in the
Yes,
main
she
room?
is, I think.
Did she go over?
I see just a
I guess because
a
she's
dark screen. I don't know
yeah.
if she's gone.
I don't. She's got to turn on her video, I think, because I don't see her on the list for.
Is she in the main room? Can you check the people that are in the main room? I mean, in the breakout room?
Well, I just see Judith, Linda, and looks like Teresa is in the breakout room.
Does she have 2 things on?
Maybe she does. Maybe that's what it is.
Maybe.
Because I show that she is. Well, it says not joined. Let me see if I can.
Can you pop over and see if she's in the breakout room? Because she's a speaker over there today.
Okay.
That would be great.
Now,
Well, you can't leave. Maybe Kathleen can pop over. Right? Because you're the Zoom host.
Yeah.
Can Kathleen pop over and just check it out? Physically see if she. Oh, wait a second. I think she left.
No.
Nope, she's still here.
I don't know.
And Teresa, are you there? Let me text her. Kathleen, can you see if she's in the breakout room? Because maybe she's got 2 devices on.
It just shows she's not joined. I don't know if she has to hit the join button.
Maybe she's having some trouble.
Okay, Teresa, do you hear us? Teresa?
Teresa, if you're having trouble, you should probably go off of Zoom and come back in. And then maybe you can get over there. Sometimes Zoom is not being cooperative. Okay, well, any suggestions, Isaac? Is there a way that you can force her?
Okay, I can kick her out and maybe she can come back. I don't know if I want to do that.
You can. No, can you move her to the breakout room yourself, or she has to do it?
I think she has to do it.
Okay.
No.
And she's not responding. She's not responding to text either.
Her computer maybe has froze up or something.
Yeah, but she can leave. Okay, we're gonna have to go on.
Yeah, what I'll do, so Isaac, how about if you remove her, then she cannot come back.
No, don't remove her. Don't remove her.
I'll telephone and see if I can get through telephone.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Okay, Toastmaster of the day.
All right, so I believe we are good to go. So now it is time for our education session. And of course, that includes speeches and table topics. So our first speech is by, but we'll get to her later because we first have to introduce our first evaluator. The assessor, the mystic, the seer, the medium. Please take the stage, Cassandra Garbedian.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster. Okay, the first speech is going to be presented by Seema. Seema, the purpose of our project is for the member to introduce herself to the club and learn the basic structure of public speech. Seema is completing this is her first speech in Toastmasters, and the goal of the evaluation is to give Seema an effective evaluation of her speech and delivery style. Because this is an icebreaker, this is the first project Seema will complete. You may choose to use your notes in the sections and present your speech. Now, this is a 5 to 7 minute speech. The pathway is engaging humor, and the level is 1. And once again, it is an icebreaker. Seema is a 4-time international best-selling author and best-selling and award-winning author who co-authored The Authorities with New York Times best-selling author Dr. John Gray. Men is from Mars, women is from Venus. Through her journey of being bedridden from 3 forms of autoimmune disease, Seema realized the power of storytelling, of overcoming her challenges. It gave her hope and encouragement to find unconventional ways to heal. That is why she now helps entrepreneurs share their expertise and transformation. Seema, we are looking forward to hearing your speech. Please, everyone, give Seema a round of welcome.
Thank you
And
so
point
much,
of-
madam.
Point of order is, I think she has 4 to 6 minutes, not 5 to
Yes.
7 minutes on her
Yes.
icebreaker. And this is a new icebreaker for her, but she's not new to Toastmasters. She has been a DTM, and this is her new humor path.
So everyone, the magic is about to be set free. Once takes the stage, Seema Giri. Seema Giri, breaking free, Seema Giri. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmasters Tala. It's so wonderful to be here. 4 years ago, I joined Toastmasters. And at that point, I was transitioning from, being an instructor, although, I spoke with, so I've done several presentations and trained over 100,000 people, but I still felt like, I needed to change the way I speak because my first book, The Authorities, was just about to release, and I wanted to have the ability to connect even deeper with my audience. So that is when I met Cynthia, and on April 1st, truly on April 1st, on April Fool's Day, I started my path with Toastmasters, and I thought I was starting a new chapter. And what ended up happening was volumes of books. Literally within the last 18 months, 2.5 years of being with Toastmasters, I created 4 international best-selling books with amazing people. Because I realized so many of us, and particularly women, were not really listening to their hearts. And that was causing a lot of issues, as Kimi said earlier, within the relationships, but also the most important relationship that one can ever have. Can anyone guess who that is?
Well,
It's
yourself.
Mother.
Exactly. It is the relationship with yourself. And what I realized through my own healing journey was that although it seems when we're serving others, it seems ideal to put everyone else first as a way of showing this is how much I love you, this is how much I care about you. But what ends up happening is that we start running out of material, our cup starts emptying, and we don't have enough to give. And then the resentment and the frustration starts. But that, as Kimi was saying, it's in your mind all the time, right? Imagine the last 33 years of continuously thinking in her mind, he doesn't love me, I'm not good enough, I can't do everything right. For 33 years, that really can do a number on you, as it did me. I ended up having 3 types of autoimmune issues, and I ended up being bedridden, and I was told that's how I was going to live the rest of my life. But I like to prove, particularly men, Just kidding, not just men, everyone. I like to prove them wrong. So I found a way by listening internally to my internal wisdom. You know, how about that? I had wisdom I never realized because I was listening to everyone else on the outside. So when I got in touch with myself, listened to my heart, I followed my gut instinct, and here I am, voila, being able to be in front of you and really be actively involved where I can serve more. So I was born in India, lived there for 5 years, and then I moved to Germany, lived there for 3 years, and spoke the language fluently. And then when I moved to the US, I had to learn English. So I just know a little bit of German and, of course, my own language, Hindi. And I do have family in Ghaziabad, Shruti, so spend a lot of time there. And I've been able to create this amazing family with my 2 kids, my son and my daughter, who are now 24 and 21, still living at home. And I just celebrated 30 years of an amazing marriage with my husband, end of January. So, you know, still, still going on. So it's been an amazing journey. And as I listened to my heart even more, I realized that, you know, having a project management business with my husband was great, but I had my own path. And during that, in finding my own path and through Toastmasters, I was exposed to a lot more opportunities, meeting different people around the world, and I was able to start my publishing business, get into publishing, and I became a book mentor because I knew what it felt like to go through what I went through and not having anyone to look for guidance to help me. Everyone was saying, you know, it's not possible, Seema. This is your life. This is what you have to realize and just stick with it. I'm just looking for Kathleen and I can't see her. Oh, there she is. And so many others have also experienced that and have come up with their own transformational journey. So these are the wonderful authors that I've got to help share their story, share their message so they can help so many more people, because it's about sharing the love, and the love means sharing your wisdom so potentially you can save others 15 to 20 years of suffering in their life and have to give them a jump start to start living their life and what they're meant to be. Have you ever been, there goes technology. Have you been ever in a position where you felt so frustrated and didn't know what to do? Well, these guys are here to help with that. And because of there's a celebration required, I have a summit coming up where I get to celebrate them, and I would like to invite all of you to join me on the 19th, this coming Saturday. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was beautiful and inspiring. Just give me a second. Yes. All right. 1 minute silence for the evaluator, and then we move on to our next speaker.
Oh, Shima, could you put your speech information in the chat to me?
Isaac, I sent it to you. I don't know if you saw that. I'll send it to you again.
I believe the 1 minute is over.
Almost.
Oh,
Now
sorry.
it is. Now it is.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Madam Timer. So before I introduce the next speaker, I'll introduce the next evaluator. Here comes the harbinger of doom untold. We quake in our boots, Isaac Ford.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Sheena Walker will be working in the effective coaching path. Her project is in level 5. The timing will be from 5 to 7 minutes. And the title of the speech, I'm not sure.
The Toastmaster generally announces the title and the introduction.
Okay, back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So today, the title of her speech is Performance Coaching for Results. So everyone, shush naysayers, silence all talkers, give some respect, Sheena Walker. Sheena Walker, Performance Coaching for Results. Performance Coaching for Results, Sheena Walker.
Thank you, my Toastmaster, and thank you, Toastmasters. As I looked at the podium and saw the athletes, I knew what success meant for them. I knew in my heart what results means when you're on the podium. What if everything that you do led to podium success? What if everything that you did every day gave you winning results? Just imagine if you were in sport or if you were a musician, you have a coach. And what's important about being an athlete or a musician, you get coached every day. And what you get coached on today, the details, the finer points, you go the next day and you do this new approach. If you're an athlete and you work in football or tennis and you get your body broken down into the plan, the training, the parts, what do you need to do? What does the coach tell you? The coach tells you how you can have these new tools, these new tips that's going to maximize your performance. And it's the same in the business world. In the business world, we have coaches that will help you to plan, help you to train, help you to maximize your performance. And there's one thing that they're going to help you to do, and that's actually to lead the field and be ahead of your competitors through performance coaching. Let me take you on just a little journey to give you examples of executive coaching and performance coaching for results. When I was an athlete, I would be on the poolside, ready to go to swim. And the next thing, Sheena, you're a stupid girl. Oh my goodness, this was my coach telling me, why are you fixing your goggles? Why do you keep dipping your toe in the water? I looked at Mr. Blair. Yes, you are stupid. Don't look at me like that. Sheena, if you keep toe dipping, you will never be successful. If you keep fixing things, you will never be successful. Let me ask you, do you keep toe dipping? Do you keep fixing things? You see, successful people have successful habits. They don't toe dip. Following day, Mr. Blair said to me, Sheena, come here, girl. And do you know what he did? He whacked my head with a clipboard. Do you know what that is, girl? It's a clipboard. Yes, you are stupid. You know, you couldn't say that to youngsters now. But you know, I quite liked Mr. Blair. Why? Because I learned from him. He was a good teacher. Look at this clipboard. And on the clipboard, it said, mindset, performance, personal best. 3 key skills that you need to learn to be a high performer. 3 skills that as a performance coach, teaching people about mindset, teaching people about different levels of performance, teaching people how they can have personal best every day. And that's the difference between athletes and the business world. Athletes change in 24 hours. I had to change my thinking in 24 hours. In the business world, people take 3 months, 6 months, 8 months to actually do things very differently. If I was to tell you a great skill, and it's a skill you've all heard about, feedback, as a performance coach, whether it's an athlete or a musician, fast forward feedback is what we use for athletes. And listen to this very carefully. Fast forward feedback is actually giving the athletes the deliverable outcome you want at the onset. The deliverable outcome. What's the results you want to see? And you will work in a very different way. I've now started that approach in the business world and telling people what the deliverable outcome is and then looking at the steps that we can take. You see, you might want to write this down. Correction leads to a new direction, which now leads to more positive results. You might find that quite difficult to do something in 24 hours. Just imagine what your business would look like if you changed your direction in 24 hours. After all, we've got people like J.K. Rowling that wrote Harry Potter. Our book was turned down 14 times to be published. She then got a coach that looked at her performance, looked at how she was writing, looked at how she was doing things. The coach gave her correction for a new direction. Gerald Butler, a famous actor, he struggled to get main parts in a film. He got correction and a new direction that gave him totally different results. I use my peak performance pyramid, the 3 steps of mindset, performance, and your personal best on a daily basis to assess everything that I do myself and to do with my athletes and my business people. Right now, where are you in your performance? If I was asking you, where are you between nothing and 10? Are you a 10 in your performance personally? Are you a 9? Or do you have an area that you're a 5? It's time to step up. It's time to step up to be the best coach, the best teacher, and to help people make that correction and a new direction to be the very best that they can be. And I'd like to just leave you with, perform at your best, become the greatest, and perform at your finest every single day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Sheena Walker. 1 minute silence for the evaluator, please.
And excuse me, Tala, we're running a little behind. So can we switch to the evaluators first? And then if we have time, we will finish up with the table topics. Would that be okay?
Of course, of course. That's
Great.
perfectly fine. Yeah.
Great. If you could start the time over for the 1 minute of silence, I'd appreciate it. Thank you, Kathleen.
That's a minute.
Thank you so much. And now, as just announced, we are switching to the journal evaluation session. And I invite once again our beloved Victor Irving Jenkins to the stage. Over to you,
Yes.
journal
Thank
evaluator.
you. Thank you ever so much. I'm chomping at the bit to get to this portion of the meeting, but I'll have to contain my enthusiasm. I do want to congratulate our Toastmaster, though, because we're only 2 minutes behind time. According to the agenda, really, no. We're supposed to be doing table topics, too. So we'll think about that if we get done with this in time. The evaluator, the general evaluator, introduces the evaluator and then gives his assessment of how the meeting went. But evaluations, like every part of a Toastmasters meeting darn near, is a timed event. Because if we didn't have timing in Toastmaster, we'll get to where we have gotten. So will the timer please tell us what are the timing constraints for an evaluation talk? Madame Timer.
Oh, I beg your pardon. 2 to 3 minutes. So that is 2, 2.5, and 3 minutes.
Thank you ever so much. And to evaluate our first speaker, we're going to have our first evaluator, whose name I love to say, so I'm going to pronounce it just like I think it ought to be pronounced. Cassandra Garabedian. Let's give it up for Cassandra, ladies and gentlemen.
Siva, I wanted to tell you that your speech was very interesting. You came across very effective. Your passion for what you do, it showed through. I mean, with your voice variety, your tone, and how you engaged the audience. For your icebreaker, that was an exceptional speech. I really enjoyed it. I'm pretty sure our audience did also. Your words were clear, concise. You made references to Kimi's speech. So you brought that in. It was overall an engaging, wonderful, well thought out speech. What I would like to see you do as far as a stretch goal would be to provide us with a little bit more examples of how this transformation occurred, or just what some of the things that you actually did. Give us an example of that. But overall, a great speech. Thank you so much.
That's it. Okay, let's give her a round of applause. And now to evaluate speaker number 2, we have Isaac Ford. Let's hear for Isaac Ford.
Woohoo!
Thank you for that. And I am sitting here trying to figure out something. Okay, Shima, a fantastic speech. I love your dialogue with your coach. I had no idea that you were a swimmer. So giving that information made it even stronger that you knew what you were talking about as being a coach. And I think your punch phrase or your theme is correction for a new direction. And you brung that every time throughout your speech. Excellent doing that. And I thought that you had a pleasing voice. It's, you have a conversational voice, which makes a great speaker. And I just thought that the whole speech was good. And like I said, the dialogue between you and your coach, I'm sure people have had coaches who yell at them and do all kinds of things that they couldn't get away with today, but it helped you. You learned from it. So you were encouraged by that. I only see maybe one thing that could be done or a suggestion, and that is look more into the camera. You tended to look down a lot, but you did look into the camera. And I guess I would like to lead you with one other suggestion. At the beginning of your speech or somewhere quickly, you want to explain your story, why I want to listen to you, and the fact that you are a swimmer, that you were an athlete, and you kind of qualified why you were able to speak on what you spoke on. And if you know, like I said, you did go into that you were a swimmer a little ways down, but I think bringing that into the beginning, because that's something that most people I know when I'm listening to a speaker, I want to know, why do I want to listen to you? What is it that you do that you can tell me? And you have a lot of reasons why athletes and business people want to listen to you. So that's the suggestion that I want to make. But overall, I loved your speech. And now I know a little bit more about you. I had no idea you was this swimmer. So excellent speech. Can't wait for the next one, the next coaching session from you. Back to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Madame Timer, how did everyone do time-wise?
Everyone was within the parameters. Kimi went over 1 minute, except the keynote speech went over 1 minute.
Tell me specifically about the evaluations, please.
I did not write them down because they were okay, actually, I beg your pardon. Cassandra caught up our schedule by completing a very good evaluation under 2 minutes. And Isaac was about 2 minutes, 45 seconds. I didn't write it down because he was in parameters.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's talk about the.
Do we have time for table topics now, Mr. General Evaluator?
You have as much time as you want. If you want to do table topics, go right ahead.
Yeah, I think we have time to squeeze it in because they were very fast with their evaluations. Thank you so much. So I'll back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, everyone, and rejoice, everyone. Table topics are back on the table. Be ready, be steady, be vigilant, be stable. Sally Reyes is bringing topics to the table. Over to you, Sally Reyes.
You're muted, Sally.
And by the way, the table topics answers are 1 to 2 minutes. So that's 1, 1.5, and 2 minutes.
Thank you. Focused on Valentine's Day, I have a general question. Please tell us about your most memorable Valentine's Day, one that you created, observed, or experienced. And be sure and use the word of the day, listening. Who would like to answer that question?
Kimmy's raised her hand.
Kimi? Did you say
sure?
Kimi?
Yeah.
Please.
I was 25 and I went to England to see my boyfriend. We were staying in a caravan. He was a broke student. He was camped in this homeless encampment. I mean, it was an awful place. He didn't have any money, or so I thought. And one day he said, grab all your things. And I had not packed to go backpacking. I had had a suitcase. So he says, grab all your things. And he marches us somewhere into the distance. And I have no idea where we're going. And he takes us to the Channel to go to Paris. He surprised me with a trip to Paris. And when we got there, we roamed around the city. We were on foot. We were broke. We didn't have any money. We were eating bread and delicious cheese on freezing cold benches on Valentine's Day. And we got finally to the Eiffel Tower. Now, Django is about 6'4" and I'm about 5'8". And we finally get there after like 5 days of wandering Paris. And he says, "We're here." And he takes my glasses off and we have this kiss in front of the Eiffel Tower. And a whole busload of Japanese tourists erupts into applause because it was such a dramatic moment, romantic and all that. It was one of the most enchanting Valentine's days of my life. Back to you, Sally, Table Topics Master.
Thank you. That was so engrossing. I'm not sure I heard listening, but you are a great storyteller, and it was a wonderful story. Can we have a visitor who might like to participate in their important moment? Eileen? Do we have an Eileen or is it Ellen?
There's an Yvonne.
Okay, Levon.
And there is an
Yvonne.
Eileen.
Are we volunteering?
I'm volunteering Yvonne.
Good. Yvonne.
I can see her name. Come on.
Yeah.
Why
Or
don't
maybe-
you ask her the question? She says she's sorry she cannot participate at the moment.
Okay.
Eileen is a guest.
Eileen,
Yes.
tell me about your most memorable Valentine's Day on that one that you created, observed, or experienced. Thank you. Go ahead.
You know what? She's got her video off, and I'm not sure if she can respond.
What about Stefan?
Oh, her video just popped on.
Oh,
Okay, I'm still waiting for hubby to come for his lunch. I created a nice Valentine's lunch and it's sitting in the oven warm.
Oh, that's great.
How's that for a story? I'm wearing red, but we did have our nice supper last night, so that's okay. And tonight we have a Toastmasters meeting, which is chocolate for our theme. I put that earlier in the message. I'm not sure if you've seen it. So I guess you could say I am creating a Valentine's 2022 special event. And my sister Valerie was born on Valentine's Day. And I always post a nice picture of her or send her flowers, because February 14th, I was thinking that's when my mom was having her 71 years ago. So definitely Valentine's is important to each and every one of us, and love is what we have to spread because there isn't enough of it going around. So to each and every one of you, I hope you have a great Valentine's. And if you were at our meeting in person tonight, you could get some chocolate. So I will just say, here you go. Have all of your chocolates. Enjoy Valentine's Day and love one another. That's all I can say. Back to you.
You are my hero today. You have done it for years. I can appreciate all your efforts, your color, and your chocolate. Thank you. Can we have someone else? Kala?
Stefan is there.
Hi.
Stefan?
Hello.
Hello. Would you like to hear my question again, or are you?
Yes, I would like to hear it again, please. Thank you.
Okay. Please tell us about your most memorable Valentine's Day, one that you created, observed, or experienced. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that wonderful question. When I think about my most memorable Valentine's Day, I could always go back to my childhood, my wonderful childhood. I can remember in our classroom setting, we had a gift gift-giving event where we'll be able to give our secret admirer a gift. And I can remember, as I gave this gift to my secret admirer, I wrote a note that says, love is in the air. Love is in the air. So as time went on, I actually had the audacity to go up to the individual and I told her that I actually wrote this letter for you. And from that day on, we became the best of friends because I was so nice, because I was so nurturing and caring. I was able to give that to her along with a basket. Because of that, I was able to not only become confident in myself, but having the ability to show love and what love really means by actually sharing it with a different person. Thank you very much for that question. You can call on me anytime.
Wow, that was a wonderful listening story to you and the deep amount of messages you got from what it's like to give and think about other people and demonstrate it. Thank you. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you so much for that absolutely wonderful table topic session. And I bet that each and every one of us at least have some memories, and we got to relive them through your table topics. So with that, we once again move back to our journal evaluator to continue the evaluation session. Over to you, Mr. Journal Evaluator.
Let's make sure I'm not muted. I'm not muted. Okay. The timer has already reported on the over and under, and the next item on the agenda is the reports. So the grammarian, would you like to give your reports on the use of the word of the day and filler words?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mr. General Evaluator. So first of all, we have the good usages. And Kimi used the word harrier, the phrase beat around the bush, the spark of life. She also used the word of the day listen 14 times. That was a single person who used the word of the day most times. Then the T-Mod himself, he used the word scintillating. The first speech, which was by Seema, she used the word of the day 4 times, and she used the word cherish. Also, there was one tiny little correction. She used the phrase look to guidance to help me. Instead, it could be look up to. Then there was this speech by Sheena, and she used the phrase transformational journey, potential, and obviously her signature phrase, which was make your correction to a new direction. Cassandra used the word engage the audience, concise, and a phrase well thought of. Ford, who was the evaluator of Sheena, used the phrase punch phrase, and which makes a great speaker. That will be all from my side. Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you ever so much. And the next item on the agenda is to evaluate the meeting's proceedings. And let's evaluate the meeting's proceedings. Number one, the agenda looks pretty sharp. The agenda is well outlined and says exactly what's supposed to happen and when it's supposed to happen. There are other accolades that are in order for this meeting. However, in the interest of time, we're not going to talk about the accolades. We're going to talk about what we can do better. Because if we don't know what we're doing wrong, then we can never improve. And if we can never improve, nobody's going to want to be a part of the program because they're not improving. The number one thing I'd like to suggest is that the Toastmaster gets more involved in the meeting. during the course of this meeting, the president on several occasions interjected what needs to be done and what ought to be done, including reordering of the activities of the meeting. And I'm believing that that only occurred because the Toastmaster didn't really have a handle on how the meeting goes. See, this meeting belongs to the Toastmaster. Years from now, when we look at this meeting, we're going to remember, or we ought to remember, that the meeting was Toastmastered. The Toastmaster of the day was the inimitable Talha bin Hamid. And Talha bin Hamid does a very good job in every other area that I've seen him perform in. And being the Toastmaster oughtn't be any different. So when it's your turn to be Toastmaster, keep in mind that it'll be up to you to take control of the meeting because you're the Toastmaster. That means that before the meeting, you'll be required to make sure that the speakers have their credentials into Easy Speak. You need to make sure that the speakers and the evaluators communicate with each other prior to the meeting so the meeting can run smoothly. Another aspect of the meeting that could have been a little different is the transfer from one session to the other session. It took far too much time to figure out who was going to be going into the breakout room and who wasn't going to be going into the breakout room. I'd also like to suggest that we all keep our videos on so we can see one another, because in a meeting of this length, if the video is not on, it's just not as exciting as if the video is on. A couple of times I heard the phrase, "I would like to." Let's discourage the use of the phrase, "I would like to." If you would like to do something, just do it. If you would like to introduce the Toastmaster, just go ahead and introduce the Toastmaster. That's a little thing that I've learned over the course of time. I'd like to encourage the Toastmaster, as a club in general, to include applause after each person speaks. Now, you might think that's monotonous, but I think what it does, apart from making us feel good because we all love applause, well, I know I love applause, and the applause can be addictive. Were it up to me, I believe that being in a meeting that's 2 hours long, part of giving applause is to keep you involved in the meeting. Because you could be sitting in your chair, and if you're not doing anything for the whole 2 hours, you could be sleeping, and who wants to see that? So let's see if we can incorporate applause after each person speaks or each person says something significant. I think that would be helpful. And in terms of the evaluators, I know that we had a bit of a time crunch today, but as you can see, my pie hole is still going on, so there would have been time to do other evaluations. And it may be, it's a possibility that maybe you're not skilled or experienced or don't trust your ability to evaluate. I'm going to drop a couple of things on you. If you can't really think of more to say, let's focus on the structure of the speech, the delivery of the speech, and the content of the speech. Now, you probably liked or preferred something in all three of those areas, and when you're giving your evaluations, if you just did that, talked about what you liked about the structure, what you would have preferred about the structure, what you like about the delivery, what you would have preferred about the delivery, and vice versa, I think you will find yourself getting more and more confident about delivering evaluations. And I think I have given a lot of input to being the general evaluator, so I can put my little notebook down for now and move on to the next portion of the meeting, which according to the agenda is to invite the Vice President of Education to speak. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Toastmasters and visitors, I give you Mrs. Kathleen Peel. Let's hear it from Mrs. Kathleen Peel.
And what is a big deal on the calendar is our speech contest next week. And Cynthia posted the sign-up form. So let us grab that. I'll grab it again. Here it is. And post it again so that we can sign up, go for broke, have a grand old time, do our best. Oops, where did it go? And, oh, that's why. And show what we're made of. With that, I would just like to pass it over to the president for the takeaways.
Oh, you would you?
Oh, I would love to. What do you think? Do I have permission? There I go again. It's true though,
Wonderful, wonderful. And Kathleen, people are moving along with learning the easy speak. We just want to get them all on board so we can start organizing our TEDx event. So you can contact Kathleen if you need to get some more tutorials in that. And I think you're going to be posting a video soon, right?
Yes, I am. I'm going to do it right away.
Yay! Okay. And because as soon as we have that all in place, we can start organizing our TEDx event. And I know you all want to become TEDx speakers. Fabulous. So we're actually right on time. Does anyone want to share their takeaways that they got from today, either from our wonderful keynote presenter or the speeches we had or the table topics that we did? Let's see.
Okay, I have something to say.
Oh, yes, please. Judith.
I loved being here, and as I always say that I learn so much each meeting I go to, any Toastmaster meeting, and today was especially a great educational meeting. Thanks to Linda and thanks to all of you, and I am really grateful for all of your knowledge to share. Thank you.
Awesome. And did you enjoy the speechcraft?
Well, a speechcraft didn't quite actually happen, but it certainly was a good education.
Didn't anyone speak?
No.
Teresa and Linda were supposed to speak.
Wow. Cynthia, there were 4 people in the room: Judith, Hoa, myself, and Teresa. Teresa was unable to speak, and I thought it seemed a little off to just speak to 2 people. So I chose not to, and I'm not supposed to be speaking.
Oh, okay.
So we talked about speechcraft instead.
Oh, you talked about it. Oh, great.
Yeah.
I got a great education on speechcraft, and that was very valuable.
So you gave a speech on speechcraft instead of a regular speech. That's awesome. And Teresa got to speak as well?
No, Teresa wasn't ready to speak, so she did not speak.
Oh, she did not speak. Okay. Well, you learned a lot about speechcraft. That's great. Wonderful impromptu session. That's great. And Judith, would you like a virtual chocolate?
Yes, of course. Always.
Always. Here it comes. 1, 2, 3. Woo!
Thank you.
And for your impromptu speech about speechcraft, would you like a virtual chocolate, Linda? Where's Linda?
You're muted.
Always the case.
I would love a 90% cacao with caramel.
Luscious. Ooh, 90% cacao with caramel coming right at you. 1, 2, 3. Woo! Thank you.
You're welcome.
And would anyone else like to share their takeaway? What you learned from today? What you got from today? Maybe a Valentine's takeaway. Is anyone, Kathleen, can you help me with anybody raising their hand?
Sally is.
Sally is. Okay, great, Sally.
Yes, I wanted to share, we had one speaker, Asima, I think, with a most exquisite picture of San Francisco in the background. I thought it was the best picture I'd ever seen. My comment is it was very distracting because it was exquisite. And I think she might choose a plainer background to keep the attention on her. Thank you.
Wow, that's a good note. You have a beautiful background, but it might be distracting from you as a speaker. Fabulous, fabulous. And would you like a takeaway? A virtual chocolate?
Chocolate covered marzipan. Thank you.
Marzipan, yum. Here it comes. 1, 2, 3. Woo! And Seema, would you like to share your takeaways?
Seema had to leave a little bit early.
Oh, that's right. She had to leave. Okay, great. Anyone else want to share their takeaway?
I learned again the truth that is so obvious, but we have to constantly recapture it, that love is about choosing love instead of defense, self-defense, in 2 words. So I very much appreciated Kimi's keynote speech. I also very much appreciated Victor's lesson. He was a very good Toastmasters coach for us, where perhaps it was the solar flares, who knows what it was, but things were all a kilter. People were coming on wrong, coming off again, breaking down this way and that. And we were a jumble, which is a wonderful thing. We love our club into a greater union, a greater communion, just as we do our intimate partners. And I really loved the sharp tuning that Victor offered, and the up-leveling of the Toastmaster, that the Toastmaster is not just the Toastmaster, the MC of the day, but is embodying the work and the goals of what Toastmasters is about, and then coaching everyone to get into line and straighten their uniforms and get on track. So thank you,
Awesome.
Mr. Victor Irving Jenkins.
No charge.
Awesome.
Also, I did love, one thing I have to say is that I really did love Sheena Walker's presentation. It was brilliant. It was far-reaching. It had effective details. It had stories. We did learn more about Sheena's life, and that, as Isaac said, it made us believe Sheena more.
Wonderful. Wonderful. And would you like a virtual chocolate?
I would like me a mango lassi.
A mango lassi. Ooh, the drink from India. I love it. So I'm going to hand it to you. You ready? Because otherwise it'll end up all over you.
Okay. I'm ready.
1, 2, 3. Here you go. Oh, great. Excellent. Excellent. And would our lovely Mariann from India like to share her takeaways? How did you like our meeting? What was your experience?
I had an awesome experience in DTM India. And the first thing I liked was Toastmasters of the day. He had a quote for everyone. From the top of his head, he had something to say for everyone. That was something I loved. I loved the keynote speaker's speech. I learned a lot from it. And I realized that getting out of my comfort zone, trying different things, going international, even if I had to wake up late for it, was absolutely the right decision, and I'm going to do it again.
Awesome. Awesome. We would love to have you back again. Thank you so much. Would you like a chocolate or a mango? A mango latte.
I would like a mocha.
A what?
A mocha.
A mocha. What is that?
Oh, it's an Afghanistan chocolate.
Ooh, wow. I've never had that. But here you go. 1, 2, 3. Woo! Enjoy. Awesome. And do we have one more person that wants to share?
Yeah, I would like to share something that actually I heard yesterday, but really tags into this theme. And the person was saying that his mother used to always say, love is an action word. And that kind of stuck with me because I definitely agree with that. And
love is an action.
So anyway, that's the thought that and since the theme was love today, it was something that just spoke to me.
Beautiful, beautiful. And would you like a chocolate?
Yes, I will not ask for the regular chocolate, but you know, I always want the peach cobbler chocolate if they make such a thing.
Peach cobbler. Have you ever met Lola Pratt? She used to be Division D director. She makes the absolute best peach cobbler. So I'm going to give you a slice of Lola Pratt's peach cobbler.
Thank you.
I hand it over to you. 1, 2, 3. Woo! Great, great. And we are meeting next Monday, the 21st at 5:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. Pacific San Francisco time for our international speech contest. And I know we're going to have some amazing speakers. I reposted it in the chat where you can sign up to do that. We have several people signed up. We were hoping for 10 people to compete. I think that makes for a really wonderful speech contest when we have so many amazing speakers. We're going to have a fantastic Toastmaster of the day, which is Brendan Fraser, and he is particularly good at training Sergeant at Arms, and he keeps them in a pickle the entire time. They're just laughing and cheering, and I've never seen such a training for Sergeant at Arms. And he's going to be our Toastmaster of the day, and I hope you will compete and be a part of that. And then shortly after that, in March 13th, the time is changing again in California, yes, but all of the US. And we're going to head forward an hour. And so it will be a little more convenient time for those in Asia, including Pakistan and India. It won't be quite an hour late. It'll be an hour late earlier than it was tonight. Great. So we hope to see you next week and sign up as a contestant. I think we're going to rock the world, literally rock the world with our speeches. Thank you so much. Goodbye, everyone. Good night.